got approved for our 11th credit card, even though we're in the process of paying off $55,000 worth of credit card debt.
I am in my 30s, and I am currently sitting at $25,301 with 66 cents in credit card debt.
Why do you have so much debt at 20, dude?
Yeah.
What have you done?
$26,000 is on my car. The rest of it is all credit cards.
Girl, what? $1,000 a month just on DoorDash?
So this is not my proudest moment, but my credit card is the worst it's ever been.
Hi, I'm Emily. We filed bankruptcy 6 years ago and we're in debt again. Yeah, the number's pretty crazy.
I have a bit of a learning experience video for you today. We are going on a progressive scale of normal average credit card debt to some of the worst that I have seen on this app in a while. Let's see what's going on.
You're spending on a credit card that is... Oh! You're over the credit limit on the Amazon card!
I ended up buying a like cat tree
Show
and
me
stuff
your
like
Amazon.
that.
Fairyland coloring book. Yeah? Is that what keeps your cat occupied? Glisten garbage disposer cleaner. For cleaning out garbage disposal when you can't afford to live? Top Kit 57-inch multi-level cat bullshit. F you. Insane, a stupid expensive printer? Go to the library!
I was needing to print stuff for school.
Library!
I was buying
Mountain Men snow jacket in Houston, Texas. How long does it take to pay off?
probably 15 years.
17 years.
Where do you find these people? I'm happy they only have a $400 credit limit there. Yeah, I mean, putting your, you should be putting most of your, not financial advice, you should be putting most of your financial purchases on a credit card, because in case there's any sort of fraud, they will fight for you, whereas if it's a debit card, they don't care. So there's that protection there. But you do also need to protect yourself by being a little bit more financially literate.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm in $10,000 of credit card debt, and I'm trying to see how long I can go without going to the grocery store. This morning, I had some of the chia seed pudding that I made, topped with some cashews and dates that my friend just brought me back from California. It was delicious. And then I had some leftover cold lentils with rice for lunch and this Go Macro bar. I really love those Go Macro bars. And then I had some of this eggplant spread from Trader Joe's with matzah. Did I want it with matzah? No, but that's what I had. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. Then I also had the ends of these potatoes from an old recipe. They were sprouting a little bit, but I just cut off the little sprouty pieces. And I prepped some salmon. I used these very, very sad looking lemon peels that had just like a very little bit of juice left over. But you know what? It was enough for this one little piece of salmon. I also put some capers on there and dill, salt and pepper. And then I put the potatoes in a pan with carrots, salt, pepper, oil, and fennel. I'm really sorry to everyone I offended by using a metal spatula on a nonstick pan the other day. Please forgive me. I tasted the pickled onions I made. They were delicious. And then I ate my dinner and that was it. Another successful day of eating from my fridge. Good night.
10,000. The last time I saw you on my For You page, you were at 15,000. I mean, and that's probably because she's doing all of these rationing core videos, right? She is cooking at home. Americans love to spend money on restaurants. My friends and I'm quite guilty of this too when I had my job and I was just completely stressed. When you're so stressed out, you don't go out, you don't do anything. So the one thing that you look forward to, and I don't know if you feel this way either, but this is how I feel, is the one thing I look forward to is having a nice meal. So I would order DoorDash a lot. Yeah, you can crucify me in the comments, whatever, that's fine. I don't do that anymore. But some people, and I heard from my friends, they're like, yeah, I spend like $1,000 on food every month. I'm like, oh, like that's a lot in groceries and restaurants. She's like, no, that's just on DoorDash. Girl, what? $1,000 a month just on DoorDash? Please.
As of today, I am $8,107 in credit card debt, not including student loans, but we're going to ignore that for a little bit longer, and I do not like it. So my goal this week and also subsequent weeks is to really grind it out and get the shit paid off. The goal is to make an extra $1,000 a week with Instacart, which would be $142 a day, so we'll see about that. But with the holidays and stuff, I feel like that's pretty doable. So I'm at Kroger, I have a Pepsi, I have a bagel, oops, added $1.89. I accepted my first order at 12:12 and delivered it about an hour later for $14, so a slow start. Part of that was related to me dropping the eggs at checkout. For those doing the math, I would need to do 10 of those orders a day for 10 hours a day for 8 weeks straight in order to meet my goal, which is not going to happen. So I kind of need to change something, but unfortunately I'm at the mercy of Instacart with my orders because another hour later, I delivered my second order for $17, raising my total to $31. My third and fourth orders were really easy and took about an hour combined. One of them ordered 18 boxes of cereal, which I thought was interesting. And my fifth order was a package of adult diapers, breaking my total to $58. For my sixth order, I switched it up and went to Target to shop for a little girl's birthday party. My seventh order brought me back to Kroger, and my eighth order was the one that broke $100. I just need to do that 81 more times. I thought about stopping there because I feel really uncomfortable delivering in the dark, but then I realized it's only like 6:30, so I powered through one more order, bringing my total to 126 for the day. It's not 143 like I had hoped, but I'll make up for it tomorrow, hopefully. I will definitely start earlier.
So my thing is, sure, she made, I think, what was that, $123, didn't make her $143 goal. That was just like what she earned, right? Her revenue. But then you don't include how much she's probably spending on gas for these orders. I hope it's not a lot. It sounds like she's in a more rural area. I don't know if because that's a small town, that means it's less gas that she's spending because it's closer together, or the rural that I'm thinking of is like more farmy, and then you have to drive out. And like you're not in traffic at all or anything, but you still do drive quite a bit. Me crying with my $600. Girl, I was crying for $3,000 in debt. Good luck. Yeah, and she has student loans as well, which if you don't have student loans, pat yourself on the back. That is absolutely incredible. I paid off $24,000 in a year, two full-time jobs. I was so tired, but I'm stress-free now. That's absolutely remarkable. Please don't do that again, unless you can afford to.
I am in my 30s and I am currently sitting at $25,301 with 66 cents in credit card debt. That is my own consumption, my own doing. And I also have about a $28,000, $30,000 yearly income. It's quite a tight budget, you guys, but I am determined and I am ready because this is about the third time that I've gotten on this journey. But this time is different. We have a game plan. I know exactly what to do. I've really nailed down my budget and I have been controlling my spending habits. I'm no longer running away. I don't need to take all those trips anymore. I'm no longer avoiding and spending money I don't have, which is the bare minimum that I can do at the moment, given my income, because my income is not a lot of dollars in there. However, that is the next goal that I have, is that I will increase my income, which means that I'll be able to pay off credit cards even more. And I'll keep you guys updated. It is a hard journey. I have a really good meal plan going. I, again, have a really good tight budget going. I've brought down my utilities expenses by a lot, by $300, $400, which has been wonderful. So my next goal is earning a larger income, but we're gonna do it, and hopefully by the end of 2026, imagine I pay off $25,000 on consumer debt by the end of 2026. Manifesting.
So her debt is basically, it sounds like how much she makes a year. She said she makes what, between 25 and 30,000 a year, and her debt is basically 26,000. So I am really rooting for her. If she can get it done by the end of this year, kudos to her. That would be absolutely incredible. Okay, so some of the comments here are saying, why pay it, file for bankruptcy and start from scratch, find a lawyer and do that, girly. Now, I don't know much about bankruptcy. I do want to make a video on that. Let me know if you would like to see a video on, people going through the bankruptcy process. I think that's kind of interesting. And to determine, whether or not people should be doing bankruptcy or if they really do just need to pay for their debt. I think most of the sentiment that people have is, unless it's, medical debt, which we should not be having that, right? Breaking Bad could only be filmed takes place in this freaking country, right? We should not be having medical debts. If it's consumer debt because of you just doing frivolous spending, yes, you do need to pay for that. If it's consumer debt because it's either you pay for rent or you don't have food or, stuff like just survival purposes, there needs to be a lot that's fixed before you're also able to do bankruptcy, I would assume.
I owe $30,000 worth of credit card debt at 24 years old. This is my credit card debt breakdown. I currently have 5 different credit card accounts that I need to pay off. The first one, which is the least amount of debt that I owe, would be my Freedom Unlimited card, in which I owe $1,649.99. My Capital One card, I owe $4,388.83. On my Best Buy account, I owe $6,210. My Chase credit card, I owe $6,856. Last but not least, Discover. This is the one that I owe the most on, and it is $10,952. That brings me to a total of $30,057.68. I've looked into filing for bankruptcy, but I don't think that that's the best route for me at this time. I think that I won't qualify for Chapter 7, and I also don't think that Chapter 13 would be the best option either. There's no other option for me other than just finding other ways to make money and paying this off as soon as possible. I'm turning 25 soon, and my goal is to become debt-free. And
if you use your credit cards, you do not want to be rich.
Well, anytime you say something about debt, people send it to me. Look
Right,
what Cuban's saying.
Tweets, yeah.
Look at what Cuban's saying.
Vice versa.
Yeah, so cut up your credit cards. If you use a credit card, you don't want to be rich.
Yep,
I like that line. That's a good line.
That's my favorite line. I tell people all the time. The best place to invest is to pay off all your credit cards and burn them, because your credit card, you know what your return is, right? If you get off, you're paying 15, 20% interest. If you pay that down, you just earn 15 or 20%.
Folks, I've told you 100 times, and the Forbes 400 wealthiest people in North America, when surveyed, asked what's the way to build wealth, what's the number one way to build wealth, 75% of wealthy people, not your broke brother-in-law with an opinion, but wealthy people say, get out of debt and stay out of debt.
The problem isn't credit cards, it's the people spending money that they don't have. Exactly. For me, credit cards are a wonderful tool if you can afford to use them, right? So if you just use it for the expenses that you're going to pay regardless, you might as well make those points. Now, once you're going beyond your means, that's where we run into those problems, right?
Got approved for our 11th credit card, even though we're in the process of paying off $55,000 worth of credit card debt. So let's talk about it. If you've been following me for a while, then you know a couple months ago we talked about getting approved for a Citi card, and that way we could do a balance transfer at 0%. We got approved for $3,000. That was all well and fine. This is a new card, and before you comment saying that I'm insane, just hear me out. Before we applied for the Citi card, I had no intention of getting any additional cards. I've been asked several times if I would even look at that path, and I was like, absolutely not. I don't need more cards. We're going to be closing cards. We definitely don't need more. Things have changed a little bit. So we got that Citi card. We got approved for $3,000, and while that was great, it doesn't save us much. We weren't looking for other balance transfer offers. However, actually when we were on our trip in California, my husband got a notice on his Credit Karma account, because that's what we use to keep track of our credit score, that he had outstanding approval odds for the American Airlines credit card. If this were any other credit card, I don't think that we would have done it. However, he has to fly American Airlines a lot for work. So if any credit card was a good fit, it was going to be this one. And they had a 0% introductory balance transfer offer for 15 months. So long story short, we talked about it a lot and we decided to go ahead and apply for it, and we got approved. Got approved for a $3,400 credit line, and that is absolutely perfect because my Capital One card has just over $6,000 on it. So our thought is we are going to take the $6,000, break it up, and put $3,000 on the Citi card and $3,000 on the American Express. That way that entire balance is at 0%. I get charged about $175 every single month in interest alone on that card. So we plan to have that broken up between the two cards at 0%. I will obviously still have to make a minimum payment to both of those cards, but that's $175 more that will be going towards the principal. And in the meantime, because we pay our balances from lowest to highest, we still need to pay off the American Express. We need to pay off my Bank of America card, the Spirit card, and then it would be that one's turn. So our plan is we're going to continue paying them off lowest to highest. If we get close to the end of that 15-month term, then we will go ahead and just put all of our money towards that to make sure it's paid off before the introductory offer ends. But our hope is that we can continue to pay them off smallest to largest and hit that one in order right after we pay off the Spirit card. Now, I know that there are going to be a lot of people that are like, okay, you're actually insane. It is what it is. We're going to be saving almost $180 a month, and that's just more money that we can put towards the cards. So at the end of the day, I think it's a good decision. At this point, we've already applied for the card and gotten approved, so there's not much I can do about it now. We're just going to go ahead and transfer that balance and get it at 0%.
Literally 15 months of saving your $175 is $2,600, which is a huge chunk of money to put towards another card. I'm excited for those 0% transfers for you. Did you end up not doing the Citi one then? No, we did get that one and the $6,400 available credit line at 0%. See, I think that's always good is if you have a high interest credit card, immediately do a balance transfer to a 0% credit card. Now they will have a transfer fee, right? That's kind of your ticket to entry. Nothing, you never really get a true free lunch, right? A true free ride. And that's somewhere between 3 to 5% of whatever your total credit card balance is. So then you have to pay that up front. So that is technically your fee in order to get these 0% transfers.
What was the last shiny besides this vacation you guys just went on? What was the last shiny? I want to hear how this happened.
I mean, I got Botox.
Where?
At the spa. It's like $600 or $800.
Where's the Botox?
What do you mean where?
Where is it in your body?
Oh, my forehead.
Okay, so you're avoiding the permanent lines?
Yes.
Okay. How much was the shiny Botox?
It was $600.
Who cares if you get lines? Dude's already starting to get gray.
No, it's not kind of. It's gray.
Oh, wow.
It is a lot of gray.
Oh, it's infected. Okay.
But it's not just like Botox. You'll do...
I think it's time to embrace. The dude's already growing old. You don't want to look like you're 20 when he's just like...
It's not just Botox. We don't do our own hair.
No,
We
he
don't
asked
make
you...
our own
No,
hair.
stop. He asked you what was your most expensive purchase.
Huh?
This
No.
past
No.
month.
Okay, so the Botox was the last shiny. Okay.
That I had.
Okay.
What about
Okay.
you?
Whoa. I just want to figure out the situation around that because I just want to learn kind of what your life looked like around that. One, that terrifies me.
So clearly her spending habits are turning this poor man gray prematurely. They look like they're, late 20s to mid 30s. I don't really know how old he is because, you know, going prematurely gray, that kind of skews how your age is perceived. But holy moly, like that is, not that turning gray early is bad. Like, have you seen Anderson Cooper, Silver Fox?
Why do you have so much debt at 20, dude?
Yeah.
What have you done?
$26,000 is on my car. The rest of it is all credit cards. The biggest chunk of it, it all really started whenever I was out of a job for about 2 months. I was putting all of the rent, all of the food, everything on just credit cards. I had a decent job. My roommate had a kind of shaky job, and then he didn't have a job. For the first few months, he was getting money from like his parents or family or whatever, trying to make his part, but that's not sustainable. So, you know, I had to start picking up his half. There was a 2-month period where neither of us had a job. So.
And how was that conversation with the roommate when you were taking on all the bills?
We had the same conversation of me just being like, you gotta figure out a way, and then there was no way being figured out. So
Did you get fired?
Yes. So I was trying to quit. I wanted to quit, but I didn't want to just like leave them because they were short staffed. We had stuff coming up. So I was like, okay, I'll quit in a month or 2 or something like that. But then like after a couple weeks, they said that my head wasn't in it anymore. So they just quit.
What was the
They just
job?
fired me. I was a QC at industrial piping type business. So I just like checked the orders and sent them out to the trucks and stuff.
Okay.
Bro, that's a lot of money to be in debt. And then, like, I understand you have to make up the money for your roommate because if they aren't paying the rent, you guys are getting evicted. And then you both are out of a job. What a terrible time. Honestly, especially in this economy. And I know what Caleb was probably going to say, like, sell the car, da, da, da. That's a bit harder, right? Especially when you need a car in this country to drive. And if you've seen my videos on the car crisis, you really can't even get a hoopty for under 10,000 anymore. It's really difficult unless you maybe go to an estate sale and get like an old person's car that passed away, but and never used it. My first credit card had a limit of $500. I built it up to $1,000 by 20. How are people getting this much debt room? To be fair, when I got my first credit card, and she has like a CA by her name, so she's probably Canadian, my first credit limit was like $6,000 at 18. Giving an 18-year-old a credit card with $6,000 credit limit is kind of crazy to do. Thankfully, it never went anywhere near the 6,000 mark. I only used it on just whatever my expenses were at the time and then paid it off immediately.
This might just be a privileged question, but how are you 25 years old racking up $40,000 in credit card debt? Do you not see how absolutely diabolical that is? It really is not that hard to just simply not spend the money that you don't have. Obviously, if you're using it for things that are important like gas and groceries and rent, that's a completely different story. But you're literally just racking up and spending this money on whatever you want. And now you're in thousands and thousands and thousands of debt that you're going to be in for the rest of your life. And trust me, I know what it's like to struggle. It's not like I've never struggled financially before. But once you're about to hit your limit on the credit card, that's usually when you say, okay, I need to chill out and stop spending my money on whatever the fuck I want and only spend it on things that I need. That's just common sense, I fear. And hot take, but I literally don't feel bad for these people at all.
So I do typically feel bad for people who are financially illiterate. This is not something that's taught to you in schools. And you know what they say, common sense is not so common. It really isn't. If you've talked to people, especially if you talk to people online, you'll notice it is not common at all. I do feel bad for people like that, but at some point you do have to take accountability for your debts, right? And to understand that you really shouldn't be spending money on stuff that is not necessary if you don't have it. Life is unfair. People are able to spend money on you know, what is her face? Like Becca Bloom. She has like a new Hermes bag and, you know, Van Cleef bracelet every hour, it seems like. Unfortunately, you don't have her life. You have your life, and you need to take care of it as much as possible and care for your future self.
I don't think that it's worth living to just pay a credit card. I should be able to do a little stuff here and there.
You think the only reason you're living is to pay off the credit card. I want you to attack it now. So by the time you're 35, you never have to pay a credit card again. So you've been around for a month because, ooh, it's my birthday month. Woo! You're extending this situation for years and years to come. You're preventing yourself from getting out of it. You're preventing yourself from ever having enough saved up for retirement so that you can survive, so you're not working in your 80s in order to afford rent because you never saved up enough money to put a down payment on a house. And who knows what Social Security is going to be like when we retire. We can't rely on that. People can barely rely on it now.
The American model is to literally work to pay off debt for the majority of the rest of your life. Unfortunately, I think that is a true sentiment because, again, as I've said, they don't care.
So this is not my proudest moment, but my credit card is the worst it's ever been. And I'm a college student. I have a credit card limit of $4,000. And I currently owe roughly $3,000 to my credit card. It's never gotten this bad, but I've just been carelessly spending my money, not paying attention to anything, not budgeting. And it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I need to get my shit together. Like, I took a look at my spending summary. In 1 month, in the span of 1 month, I spent $1,900 on my credit card. I don't even make that much in a month. I make like roughly 1,700 a month, something like that. And this is not even counting rent. Like I pay rent with my checkings account, and then this is all from my credit card. Like it's really bad. When I tell you, I should not even be spending half of this amount in the month with how much I make. So I've decided I'm finally gonna get my shit together. I'm gonna start hardcore budgeting this week, like as of today.
No, I agree with her. That is crazy. 75% of her credit limit is taken up. 3,000 out of 4,000 limit. That's a bit much.
What is this? Blue Card's preferred 30,000. 30,000.
Yeah, so that's the credit card.
The $30,860.54. Oh, with a minimum to pay of $922. You know how to live on $120,000 a year? Not to have these minimum monthly payments that equate almost $1,500. Added up $1,500. $1,500 in minimum monthly payments. We talked about 3 cards, $1,600 in minimum monthly payments. Yeah, you're right. You probably can't cut your lifestyle down when you've stacked your minimum monthly payments up to fucking disaster level.
Well, I just don't know why we
Stupid.
couldn't have this conversation earlier.
You know why? Because you guys separate your fucking money and refuse to budget, so you have no knowledge of your situation, making it incapable of having an accurate conversation. Because you live like children. Because you're not a fucking team. You don't have a conversation when you're not a team. You are two unequal parts living around in the same household, and sometimes you fucking make.
What was that? 1,600 in monthly payments for. It sounded like each card that they had. I'm really, like, I'm at a loss of words. Like 1,000 minimum payment.
How much debt do you have?
Probably like
$80,000 beyond substantially more than you just thought you had, which is insane. You didn't even know about $30,000. Of the debt you have, you did not know about almost 40% of it.
I just think I need to get everything like back aligned, and then I can be okay with them.
But what you're doing now, that's going to continue down a worse path. Honestly, it was around a pretty similar time that my debt got really bad. Like 18, like I opened a stupid Guitar Center credit card, but my credit card debt, student loans, private student loans, car debt didn't get bad until like 2021, 22.
Yeah.
So you can get worse, and you're doing nothing at all to correct it.
No, okay, like 80,000. Was she 20 or 19? 19 years old with $80,000 in debt? 19? I feel bad enough having 22,000 student loans at 27. I cannot imagine 80,000 at 19. I can't either. And my student loans are more than half of what he has. Like, and I'm the same age. Like, holy crap. Like, holy crap. Like, I would not be able to sleep at night at all. I hope she is able to, but she needs to really get onto it.
And I don't know what to do. If you're seeing this video, you probably are also trying to credit card debt, and I wish I knew how to help you, but I don't, because I don't even know what to do for me. So here's the story. I'm 30. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2, and I have something called cystic fibrosis. And back in November of last year, I left my career, and I had been a working person ever since I could get a permit, because my health was deteriorating, and my husband and I decided it was more important that I stay home with the kids and stop trying to work at the same time and consider my health first, because obviously, if you know what CF is, it already shortens my life expectancy, and my kids deserve for me to be here as long as possible. So we did that, and everything was okay, because my husband worked really hard, and he figured out a way to bridge the gap between the 2 incomes, and it was good until it wasn't. And then we started putting stuff on credit cards, and we couldn't pay those credit cards off like we were used to. And then a couple months ago, we regrouped, we figured some stuff out, and we found some extra money. We did some extra things to make some extra money, and we started putting that towards the debt. But then our escrow went up. It was severely deficient, so our mortgage payment went up by $400 a month and took all of that extra money that we had found. And now I don't have the opportunity to go work. I don't have the opportunity, because of my health, to do anything else other than just take care of my kids and myself right now. And come next year, my husband's going to try to do more stuff on the side from his actual career to make money, but I am monetized on this app, so this can be a job for me, and I can try to make money off of views on here. So if you relate to me, you can just watch these videos. I get qualified views, and then I'll make a couple cents, and I can make micropayments onto my credit card with that money to help out my husband, because he's already working really hard. And I think that's it. The question that I want to ask you is, did you grow up with parents in debt?
So a lot of things sort of hit this family at once. Obviously, having cystic fibrosis, that is, I assume, debilitating. If it's shortening your life expectancy, it probably is debilitating for you to not be able to work. That is horrible. And then she's a mom, right? So even if she did want to go back to work, how much are daycare costs? Daycare costs, at least where I'm familiar with the United States, it is thousands. It's like few thousands for the whole year. Like maybe it might be a couple to a few thousand each month just to put your child in daycare. So at that point, like, what is the point of putting your child in daycare when you could be a stay-at-home mom? So they're not really getting savings there. Hopefully this man is not going to lose his freaking job. He's picking up jobs. I can't imagine the financial stress. And there's another video that I'm working on too, which is over, people in this generation, a lot of millennials and especially Gen Z, do not want to become parents. This is exhibit A. Even if you want to become a parent, how difficult. Everyone deserves to be able to provide their child with the best possible future and childhood and everything like that, and be the best parent that they can be. But my golly, that is a lot of stress.
I think I have more credit card debt than anyone else on TikTok, and no, that is not a flex, that is my hook. So thanks for watching the first 5 seconds of this video. Before I tell you how much credit card debt I'm in, I'm going to tell you how I got here. I'm married at 18 years old and I moved 2,000 miles away from my family to be with my husband, who was never home because he was always overseas at the time, and I got so depressed. I dealt with so many dark emotions during that time. I developed a spending addiction to deal with my depression, planning trips and going out shopping and going out to eat and doing this and doing that when we didn't have the money to do it. We had no money. We were 18 years old and brand new to adulthood. We had no money and we had no parental support, but I didn't like that. So I got credit cards and I racked those babies up. Over the next 13 years, I continued to do so. I basically treated my credit cards like debit cards. If I didn't have the money in my bank account to go and do something or buy something or go eat somewhere or whatever it was that I wanted to do, I just swiped a credit card. And I just treated our credit card bills like just regular monthly bills that we were going to have. I had a horrible money mindset, and I know that now. Now, 31 years old, I recognize the behavior that I had for 13 years, and I'm working on it now. I recognize the horrible money mindset that I had, and I'm working on it. I recognize that I have a spending addiction and that I was spending money I didn't have to fill a void and to make myself feel good, and I'm working on it now. Now let's get to how much credit card debt I'm in. I started this journey in July, and I had 11 credit cards. Over those 11 credit cards, we had $89,000 in credit card debt. We are now down to 8 credit cards, and we've knocked it down to about $83,000. My goal in 2026 is to go hard on this and get as much paid off as possible because we want to buy a house in early 2027. So if you're
I never ever have any credit card debt. If I have money, I don't buy anything. I literally did not ask. If you want to share that with the world, go make your own content. I will say, when you open yourself up like I am here to the public, expect to have people criticize you for things that you are talking about. Like, you are literally sharing your debt journey. And this isn't even rude. I never have any credit card. I've never had one. That's all they're saying. If I don't have money, I don't buy anything. You're taking this as a personal attack when they're just sharing something about themselves and you're kind of being rude about it. But that's neither here nor there. It's clearly a touchy subject to have that much credit card debt. It's a lot of debt that she has.
Hi, I'm Emily. We filed bankruptcy 6 years ago and we're in debt again. Yeah, the number's pretty crazy. $93,154 worth of debt. $41,000 of it is cars. The rest is loans and credit cards. So we've been sitting at around $93,000 for a long time. But the number's not going any higher, so that's great. Our minimum payments every month are like $3,900, and the interest, just the interest on those payments is like $1,800. So yeah, here's to paying off the debt. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Yeah, I've thought about filing again. I have. At this point in time, we could file a chapter 13, I believe, and then get on like a payment plan or whatever, but we're not going to do that. And then in 2 more years, we could file a chapter 7 again. But we're not going to do that. It's just been a thought. You know, bankruptcy is a great option if you learn your lesson, and we didn't. So here's to getting out of it.
Did she, like... I should go back, girl, $1,800 on just interest payments alone. That would have me gasping for air at night. I really hope her and her family get out of this. And then she sort of hit us with that, I filed for bankruptcy before, so maybe we'll consider doing it again. Girl, how did we get into this again? Sell the car, you just cut your debt in half, buy a used car for $3,000 or less, and get your act together. Unfortunately, you do kind of have to get your act together. This is what I constantly tell people: wiping out debt without learning good financial habits is never the solution. Yes, Rachel, we understand. Oh, y'all never heard of a used Toyota Corolla or... After filing bankruptcy, you should be driving a car worth less than $10,000. What do you mean? $41,000 of car debt. I mean, they probably have 2 cars, or did they say that they share a car? Because at least I can understand a bit more if that's from 2 cars. Sorry, British people. 2 cars, but Anyway, so yikes, that was a lot of debt. Let me know your stories. Do you have a lot of credit card debt? Have you ever gotten yourself out of credit card debt before? Let us know your strategies. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and I'll see you in the next one.